答えは常に塔の上にある。
間に合う。間に合ったな。アリーナに売店ぐらいあるよな。
After school.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Webtoon segment here. We're going to be talking about, of course, God of High School and Lookism. Before we get into all that, though, we actually did get some news about Tower of God the other day.
That's correct, yeah. So there was actually a panel over the weekend at the Crunchyroll Expo. They had the composer there and the main illustrator. I did not catch the panels, but I heard they were pretty cool. But the main thing with the composer panel was that there's a vinyl coming out. You can back it right now. I can send you the link, Danny. That way you can put it with the post. But yeah, you can back it right now, and it drops next month. And it looks pretty cool. It's 11 tracks. I don't think there's a digital download for them, which is unfortunate. But you can listen to the tracks, like half of them, on the website. And let me tell you, some of them are pretty nice, man. The names are all totally different, but the ones that you can listen to, they're pretty fire. And that's all the news that we got so far.
But cool, man. So with that, let's go ahead and get into these segments here. God of High School, we're coming in for, I guess it's like their season 3 that they call it, right? It says chapter 3 in the little bubbles for the chapters. But we're covering 119 to 150 for the chapters here. Figure this is where we should stop because there's a lot of info here, and then it just kept getting crazier and crazier moving forward from there. So I'm like, okay, let's step the brakes and talk about what's going on here. I like this arc a lot more than some of the previous stuff that we got, mainly because the way it's paced out now feels a lot better. We talked last episode about how the end of the Nationals went and how fast everything got so ridiculous, and it just didn't feel right. But here, everything feels good. Like now that we have the ground rules of what to expect, it was all pretty good.
I did like the introduction for the arc. Yeah, Sunjin, she was pretty dope. It was a pretty good step in into what they were going to basically be facing from the get-go, because we already probably figured out that since they were on the lam that they were probably going to get ambushed anyway. It just kind of seemed to be like the motif for it. I mean, I didn't really like the fact that all of them really got captured at the beginning. At this point, what can you do? So many of them are so OP, and the way that Sunjin came off is just like, oh, you don't think that she's going to be anything special with the way that she looks, and then all of a sudden she comes back and she's literally plowing through everyone.
I mean, the setup was really neat. I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one, Oscar. I totally saw they were gonna get I think it was more of the plan for them to get down into the underground, and then the whole thing with Pandora's box. Well, that whole character, I was like, that's pretty neat. I can see why that's an actual nemesis of Morijin's character, the Monkey King. I mean, when you think about how the story of the East goes, and then just Pandora's story in general, I'm like, okay, I can see the mesh of the two. But again, I said this off the air, at first I was following the way this guy was going with everything. I was like, okay, that's fine. But then he threw in Pandora's box. I'm like, you know what, dude? You're making your own fucking story, and it's working out great. But at the same time, I'm like, come on, man. I want the monk. I want all the monk.
Yeah, so it's cool, man. We get to go to, I guess, they call it the Sage Realm here. And that's where Morijin lived. And it's like this floating continent or something. And we got the monks, like Adam said, and all that cool stuff.
Dude, it's literally just the floor of death, man.
Basically, right? There's a part where in one of the flashbacks it said floor 43 or something. And I was like, wait a minute, guys. No, we're not bringing levels and floors into this right now.
I was really hoping they weren't going to. But they mentioned that whole thing of an hour, and I think they said an hour in this world is like a day in real time. Clearly, the events of all this has to have been longer than an hour. So
yeah, that's clear.
I mean, how much time is going to pass before they even get back over? That's the one thing that's been on my mind this whole little bit of this arc.
But they haven't really made any references to time within this arc. So at the same time, we don't really have an exact or an approximate amount of time, by the end of it anyway.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of is that when they mentioned that when Mori still hasn't fully recovered yet from using his Sun Wukong powers, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this is that's going to take a while, and I'm sure it's more than an hour. I'm willing to bet at least like maybe a few months would have passed in the real world by the time they go back or something.
I could definitely see that.
Right.
I mean, this battle's definitely going to go on for a long while.
That might even go longer than months, actually. I can probably try to see them do, like, years. Like, maybe they got caught up in there for, like, 6 months or some shit, like, ends up doing some sort of training or whatever, you know? And they come back, Korea's already restored. You know, he's been the president or wherever the fuck for, like, years.
Yeah, I can see that happening. In the beginning, I was digging how the arc was starting off, because I was like, oh, cool, we're going in sort of like an adventure type of thing. You know, Journey to the West themes going on here. Maybe more fantasy stuff. I was kind of digging what that was going into. And
Big vibes.
I only wish it kept going longer with the adventure stuff, because right when we get there, almost immediately we get into the jump of everything, right? Things are already pushing forward into what we get into further down in the chapters. I was like, I kind of wanted a little more downtime with our characters, but with the stakes at hand, I guess it's acceptable.
I mean, there were a lot of people that did, like, drop in that world. Like, it was messed up in the beginning. Like, you know, you had the one of the 6 supposed to go in with them, but turns out like it's just kids just ended up showing up. So if anything, I feel like the extra content we got for character development wise would be from like the other characters. Forgot that one punk anarchist kid, like how he just changed his demeanor all around.
Yeah,
and then during the fight with basically Shane's son, he's like, I found the leader, and it was him. Like, I appreciate that. Like, people that I don't really give a fuck about, just sort of like, all right, that's making me give a fuck now.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, it was I was caught by surprise to see pretty much all the cool characters from the tournaments come back. I wasn't expecting them to show back up in the series.
Oh, yeah, my boy Mansock like grew up too.
Dude, everyone got some nice upgrades. I'm not gonna lie.
Both physical and like mental. Like, they all just went through some kind of a change. Or maybe it's something that's like has that the author didn't really want us to show us like in the beginning. Like, yeah, these guys aren't just assholes. They have ambition.
They got stuff going on. Yeah,
I could definitely see that. I mean, and it works out really well.
I hope they do more with that one, like, what was his name? Like, Gang Do or whatever his name is. The guy who's, like, doing, like, the Neji shit with, like, the yin and yang. He was in like in one battle and he was kind of useless, so I'm kind of like waiting to see him come back. I'm like, hopefully he's better, you know?
Yeah.
Well, you know, the curious thing about a lot of the returning cast is we never saw their borrowed powers or determined if they were genuine fighters. So I'm looking forward to see if they're going to be getting something like that, and then that way they're more evenly balanced in this fight. We saw like there was a lot of 2-on-1 fights during like the climax of these chapters. And it's like, oh, wait, we could barely manage fighting these guys. Like, Dawi was fighting with the Yin Yang guy against the, what's his name, Axley, right? The guy with the wings from Nox.
And Saturn was fighting Mira, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the disciple of the old man, right? The maid.
Hyangdan, yeah, she was the maid for Jugok, right? The grandson for the magician. So yeah, I'm curious to see what these 2-on-1 fights are going to be. And I find it interesting that they're holding off some key players, right? Like Iplo Park, for example. He's kind of doing his own story in here.
At the end of this whole, 150, he actually comes back with his Yoko Kurama form, which clearly he made that direct contract, with that Fox demon. So I'm sure we'll see that little backstory.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, this arc is definitely, I think it's in my top right now, right? Just the way he's pacing everything out. The choreography is really stellar still. When we see everybody drop the business, man. Like, when we get these new characters coming in, man, this is getting good stuff. Like, we got Uma, the Ox King.
Dude, look, man, I don't care if this is a kid's show. Big mommy milkers. I got thirsty real fast, dude. I was like, dude, she's just a bona fide badass, though, like, at the end of the day.
Yeah, she's got that Noi energy from Dorohedoro.
My favorite part about her is, like, her whole, like, Amazon / like barbarian, like dialect.
Titties.
No, not even titties, dude.
I love how her power is in her horns, dude.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool,
That
too.
shit was cool as hell. Reminds me of Tower of God.
Dude, you know what? And I like her little Madara Chiha sword she's got going on too.
Oh, the fan? Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that, Danny.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the war fan. Yeah, it took me a while, and I was like, oh, right, like the Ox King and Dragon Ball, like that's part of the Journey of the West story, I guess. That's cool.
Yeah, see, again, that's where I'm like, dude, I really like this. I really like his own take on this Journey of the West thing. Like, it's working out pretty well. And then we got to Pandora. All right, man. You like, I was trying to follow along and make my own predictions, and then you just threw a whole wrench in my operation. But I do like Pandora's character a lot. I definitely saw the whole betrayal coming, but I mean, let's see what happens from this point on.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that like she wants to betray the organization Nox, and because she's only there for like, I'm here just to settle my personal vendetta. So that was interesting.
Like she's not really sided with anybody. She's kind of just trying to do.
She's like, I just want to catch a dub.
Her own personal.
That's all she wants.
For real, she wants that salty run back.
It was like Taijin's thing to like try to find out what happened to his family, right? And it was like basically his one failed task because he ended up giving that up just to raise Mori. You know, ended up trying to go along and make up for all the rights that he did for all of the people that he lost in his squad. So his like one thing that haunted him is now like about to like legit kill Mori and like all this other shit. He happened to have like the one of the only powers that can literally neutralize and like fuck up everybody. Like really like the trump card, like the Joker of the whole thing, you know. So I it's a good wrench, you know, wrench in the plot, and I liked it. I really liked her backstory. I liked it.
I'm sure there's some extra deep-rooted stuff in there as to why she knows he's the Monkey King and, like, you know, and all that kind of stuff, but I'm sure we'll get there when he comes out of the gourd.
Well, like, when she got the Pandora powers, like, because Nox know who Mori Jin really was. But yeah, she got that Renegon bullshit going on, you know, hecka anime.
Actually, no, never mind. I'll save it for a different day. I got a crazy theory.
Can I just say really quick, last thing I guess about this bitch? Did anybody else think it was redundant that her box had a hole in it?
I noticed that too. I hope it's not just like something that he's just gonna throw in there. I hope they actually mean something. You know, like maybe Mori's the one who punched a hole in the box and she's all butthurt about it. Like,
no, because I think this is the first time she's meeting Mori. Like, she wants revenge on the rape Taekwondo, and you know he was raised by Taijin, so I think that's why she's after him.
I thought the reason why the hole was there was because of the whole like original woman opening the box thing. Let me ask you this, because I didn't really understand this part, but since that's technically a borrowed power, does that mean that this woman technically might be somewhere in like the other realm?
No, I don't think hers is a borrowed power. I think hers is a direct contract because she was given that by multiple. She was given multiple things by multiple gods. You know, it wasn't like, hey, you can use this. It was like, no, hey, this is yours. You know, and then it just destroyed her completely. So I think her deal is a direct contract as opposed to a VP.
Did they give her that?
That was my understanding of it. Which is why she can stop all the other god powers. Yeah, there was when they were talking about who she was and like a little bit of what she can do. There was that couple panels where it's like, oh, I'm giving you this. Like she's walking through something, and then there's like some gods that are like, hey, I'm gonna give you this kind of beauty and this kind of like all these kinds of things. And I feel that's in direct correlation to her abilities inside the box. To me, it makes sense as to why she can stop everyone else's god power.
I mean, it is Pandora, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, because when it's like, oh, Pandora, and I was like, okay, now we're really getting into this, like, all this godly stuff. I'm like, all right, man, all right.
Alternate universes, dude.
Yeah. Like with what you were saying, Adam, with the whole, like, Journey to the West, and then we introduced Pandora. I'm like, I think it's like all these stories are just being melded into one. And they just clash at some point with the characters, and that's when he really wants to like just make it go its own direction.
Which, like I said, at first I was like, this is kind of, you know, the whole wrenchy operation. But now, as I'm like sitting with it and thinking more about it, I'm like, okay, I can still see the line of where he's trying to go with this.
And I forget his name, but yeah, the fake Monkey King, aka Hell Joe #2. He was pretty cool when we first saw him. I like his design a lot. It's pretty solid, and like his own like monkey staff and like the machine to summon the lightning, you know, like things to imitate what Morihjin originally has already that we saw in this arc. I'm like, it's all pretty cool, man. He's got a solid backstory. I like how he sort of starts to redeem himself, I guess you could say, in this arc, as he wants to just, he's here for the people. That's what he's always been. And now, like, things are changing. So it's like, all right, I'll stop fighting you. We'll team up and whoop these gods. I was like, heck yeah, man. I'm all for it.
Also, the monkey god is an asshole. The real one.
Oh yeah,
Mori.
So far, yeah, man.
I feel like it was super clear that he was selfish. Do you guys think that when Mori comes out, he's going to be able to use that other object that the Helljo number 2 had? What was it? What was its name? It's like Yoye, right?
It was pretty similar.
No, I think that was just like an imitation of what Mori's staff is supposed to be. But that'd be cool, like to see. It's a really cool design.
It might be like it might be like the thorn. It might be like 2 pieces of the same pot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think I know what you're talking about, Oscar, right? Because when we got the flashback with him when he was a kid, and it was like, yeah, you could use whatever you want. So he took 2 items, right? One was the gourd, and then
and the other one was the staff.
He was allowed to take 2 of his items. So they're like everything in that armory was originally Mori's, because they went to his castle, right? That's what.
Yeah.
They did this whole thing where they showed like the original Monkey King, and he's like, "Oh no, don't worry about it. We're just gonna leave here. We'll go over there while they're all coming over here." Right? So he didn't really give a fuck about. Oh, he ended up, getting captured after that anyway. So at that point, they might as well just take over his castle, kept everything that was his. That would be cool if it combines, though, and then he'll be able to have like a little like slash effect to his staff, and not just keep using it as a skyscraper all the time. Make it a little more versatile. Maybe it'll like do like some Ivy shit, where it'll like turn into a whip. Combine it to make it look like what was Renji's Bankai again?
Oh yeah, Zamimaru.
Zabimaru,
yeah.
I'm so mad that I know that like off the drop of a dime.
Once you're a Bleach fan, you can't escape. You can't escape crossing fate.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I would predict, we'll see Mori come out. He'll do some crazy anime stuff, and then in the middle of the fight, we'll probably get like some dialogue with some characters, and then we'll get a flashback with Mori continuing his talk with his memories, and then kind of like meeting somewhere in the middle with that. Because right now he doesn't like his past self, as he was talking to him, learning about like how the war started and all that, and the betrayal. Yeah, another solid point for this arc is the story building is pretty nice right now. I like how it's coming in subtle pieces here and there. Right, we don't have a definitive section that's just pure flashbacks. It's only when it should be brought up, and I like that. Yeah, different change of pace. And man, when the shit starts hitting the fan, it's hitting hard. When we got this guy Byron coming in here. From Nox, and he's just wreaking havoc.
Dude, he was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
I like how different it is.
Okay, so specifically, the spear was the bishop.
Yeah, I think what happened is like Byron was given the spear, and then they sort of made a direct contract to where. I think that's how it had to be, because we see like. Byron's body is just destroyed. He's not even touching the staff, but then the staff starts talking, and it's like, oh, this is a separate entity that was just working with Byron. Like he needed like a physical host to use his powers, I guess you could say.
I think it was just a different form of Tam, the Avarice, with the what's his name, Takel. I'm gonna butcher it, dude. I'm just blue hair.
Jagal,
the dude. There you go.
And just bear with me here. It's like a Tam, but also more like fucking Envy from Fullmetal Alchemist. Where it's just kind of like he can manipulate his body into any kind of shape that he wants. So I think it was like the spear just kind of made a puppet of itself, just like kind of like some extra space. So it would like mislead what you were supposed to attack.
We saw that with the what's her name? The Saturn priest. Her borrowed power isn't that?
Well, hers is more like a monster. Cause hers is like you have to specifically use it within like a shadow or a dark place. No, Tam was on his body. Jagal's Tam.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Envy.
Envy from Fullmetal Alchemist. She could like just do her thing like whenever.
Yeah,
you're thinking of Pride.
I could definitely see that, Oscar. I could see where you're going with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's like, oh, we need a contract to be formed for him to use his powers like that. Maybe.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because he's the only one like that so far, right? Because everybody else, they're just using borrowed powers, and then we have like these Nephilim things coming in from Evangelion showing up, right?
I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought of that, dude.
Dude, I thought about that last time when like they all showed up at the end of Nationals. I was like, what's going on, man? But everything's, I'm liking what we're getting so far, and just the scale of the intensity again. It feels better paced now, mainly because like our characters understand what's going on. They've had a little bit of training, and I think once they can handle with Pandora, well, now that she's not really fighting them anymore, I guess everybody could bust out their borrowed powers to the full extent now. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's going to be really neat. I mean, there's still the priests that they got to deal with for a little bit, but I'm sure once they all have their borrowed powers back, they'll be killing it. I'm just ready to see the next person get bodied, dude. Just.
That's why, like, nobody using borrowed powers right now. It's like they don't really, not necessarily need them, but it's nice. Like when, dude, it's so crazy. It was so crazy. Like I don't understand how like Daiwi got his fucking his borrowed powers mother to fight.
Yeah, so that was kind of weird. Cool. That was kind of weird because
it makes sense. Okay, so remember back to when he summoned it the first time, and then like it had its own conscience, so of course it drove it to him. It didn't really show you him exactly finding the cave, but you see the cave, right? And then you see that they make contact.
The way Daiwi explained how he got his borrowed power, he already had the bubbles thing going on. And he was like, well, yeah, I had to pick something, and I just saw this drawing of that dragon, and so I just chose that to be the physical form of the power.
Art. But it is technically a Chinese dragon. Like that, it looks ridiculous, but it is an actual dragon. Like you can just look them up on Google and everything.
Yeah, it's true, but then the fact that like, he chose it, but it was already in existence, I don't know, it threw me off. So if you're like, oh, like this thing actually does have a mother.
You have to remember that he went because he realized that this was like that kind of a world. He goes, oh wait, maybe I can go, because he had to go find the tears.
Right, tears of the dragon, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But I'm like, there wasn't any. I don't feel like there was anything definite to
that it was a real
have
thing.
that like so concrete. Yeah, have that as like a real reason to keep it. But I get it. Like you're in the sage realm, anything goes. I guess .
Yeah, dude, I could have like Big Dookie be a god, man.
Jesus.
But I liked how like they're not using borrowed powers, and I like the little fight that we got with Daiwi and that thug that Morijin wrecked in the qualifying tournament. I forget his name.
Mansock.
Yeah, Mansock. Yeah, that was a cool fight.
Dude. I like him too. He's really he's kind of showing what he's about. Like with who was he talking to? He was talking to Daiwi, and they were fighting each other and stuff. And then he's like, well, I don't know. I don't get why you're so scared of. Like, you're strong enough. You can go do it.
He's kind of like Mori, because how Mori was like, I don't like the idea of a borrowed power because it's not you. Like you need to get help to get stronger. Yeah, he's like that. I like that.
It was refreshing when I heard that. I'm like, all right, dude.
Yeah, it's cool, man, that we actually can get like a real character out of him.
Yeah.
Because now we have more time to talk rather than just him being like, ooh, Psycho Crusher bullshit,
For real.
But yeah, man, things were getting pretty intense. I thought we were just going to end and then move on to the next thing to get Mori's power, and then that's where we were going to get more problems from Nox. But the fact that it's like here right off the jump was pretty crazy. And like the fact that like where we stopped, like we're still getting to the peak, because I mean things still are getting ridiculous, but we could just keep going higher and higher.
Like that giant ass shark in the sky, dude.
Yeah.
Soon you're gonna be throwing like galaxies at each other, dude. It's gonna be crazy,
dude. If it gets Gurren Lagann style, man, dude. If it gets like Zatch Bell style,
oh my god.
Honestly, we're getting more towards I think Bleach, and I say that mainly because when we saw these priests coming in, and one of the hoods came off of this guy. And then we look and it's a skeleton. I was like, oh, is this like fucking Baragon, bro? like the Waco Mundo King. That's what he looks like. I was like, this is getting cool, dude. And see, I kind of like how we can get loose with like these quote unquote stands, right? With the borrowed powers, like with Gumgi, right? The Revolution Man, the way he uses his with his jacket.
Oh, that was so good.
Dude, that was big Spawn energy.
That already ties into how he fights. And it's like, okay, we're just going to add this to his fighting style so that way that way he's not unfamiliar with it. I was like, that's nice. I like that. About to see where we ended off the chapter. Morijin's going to come back out of the gourd, and I want to see what's going on with that.
It is waifu time.
Yeah, that was cool, man. It's wife time, as we said.
I want to say like the guy that reminds me of like Kamen from Gurren Lagann, like the one who was initially fighting and got set on fire. He's got like the Hawaiian shirt on and shit. He calls the other god that looks like Chris from King of Fighters like bro and shit. But I like had to second guess myself. I was like, that's just the way that he talks, right? I mean that chick's not really a dude, right? This isn't going to be one of those things, is it?
To answer your question, Oscar, I guess it just depends how far he wants to take the whole deity thing, because most deities are either androgynous or have no gender. It really could go both ways, but to me, character's cool. You got titty.
Yeah, the Three Kings stuff is interesting. Now that Heaven's finally stepping in and all that. Yeah, so yeah, the chapter 150 ended it pretty hype with the boy Iplo Park coming in. I gotta say, it was a little too... I don't even know if I want to say anime. When the main, I guess like the father, right, of these Three Kings from Heaven, he just ties his hair back and it just says State of Defense Level 1. And I'm like, alright, man. Alright, we like video games, I get it. Alright. You know, Iplo Park coming in, hype. Like we said earlier, Bike getting his direct contract. Yeah, I'm hyped to see him because, again, he was one of those characters where we didn't see him use any stands or borrowed powers. So I want to see how he's gonna wreck with his metal bat. But I say it's safe to say that we can move on to the Lookism section here as we end the Workers arc with the last two chapters. And that's good stuff. Let me just say again, man, the boy Steven Seagal is
out here pulling danglers. He's out here punishing.
Going back, looking at the chapter 12 with Tom Lee, and I'm like, yeah, he does whatever he wants to do, man. And I'm pretty sure it's censored here, right, where he takes his pants off, and then he just says, because today's Commando Day, but it's like he's wearing shorts, and I'm like, is he wearing shorts, though, or did they have to censor that?
No, they definitely told him to redraw that shit. They're like, no.
Yeah,
no.
I also imagined him naked while sucking the fuck out of the couch.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's dangling. You know, he's free balling.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, a man like that, you gotta be proud of your physique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's horse status, dude. He doesn't care.
Just straight up, he has like, what? I don't remember. Did he have one hand gloved?
I don't think so.
Or was it both of them gloved? No, because I remember he had like a glove on one of them, and he was just using that to punch.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's got one.
He only has
on,
one glove on.
He's such a boss.
Yeah. I can't wait for him to come back. Yeah, it gets so anime, right? When we see Warren like just throwing punches, and he's just like, does this guy not feel anything? Like he's not even reacting.
Dude, I'm just gonna say I loved it when Steven Seagal looked at Daniel, was like, oh man, I thought I saw a gun for a second. He stopped him real quick from going into that.
Oh
Dude,
yeah,
that clearly is a problem. I mean, I don't know if he said in the last two chapters or before or maybe it's insinuated that he trained Gunn. So if he showed Gunn how to do that and Daniel just kind of figured it out on his own, that's clearly a problem for Mr. Dangler.
He trained both Gun and Goo. But I do see your point, Adam. I think he's probably going to get it refined at some point, though. Probably not by Gun, but by somebody.
Yeah.
Who, Daniel?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see. I don't know where the author wants to take with Samuel, but I could see Samuel showing him some stuff.
I could see it too.
Low-key, I'm kind of hoping that after this whole thing with the Workers is done, by that's the fourth one, right? Because we've had the God Dogs already. We have
No, there's one more. Yeah,
God Dogs Hostel. Yeah, one more. I'm hoping that this last one, or when it kind of introduces somewhere in between, like we get to see more of like Goo and his team. I'm really hoping that he's got a secret friend that also has Ultra Instinct, and that kind of like goes one on one with Daniel and kind of see like what the key difference between somebody who like knows how to use it and like someone who's just like kind of teaches himself. You know what I mean? So what else he picks up from that, and then see if he's like overturning it again. It's just the kind of niche that I've been kind of seeing has been repeating in this kind of manga from the beginning. You know?
I see that. Someone's got to teach him the Ultra Instinct. I'm still never gonna get over that name, man.
Yeah, well, it's hyphenated, so it's different. But I gotta say, man, I like the other story that's going on in these last 2 chapters, and that's with our boy Manager Kim coming in, trying to be the good guy in the end. Yeah. I hope he comes back. I really hope I hope him and Warren Che team up at some point, and they have to fight somebody. You know, I want to see that happen.
I definitely think so. I mean, he even gave the card to the 2 girls from Hostel and was like, "Hey, give this to him when he wakes up. You know, I'm ready."
I gotta say, man, Tom Lee. Like, I'm going back through the chapters, and I'm like, man, I'm getting mad Negan vibes off of this guy too. I think that's why I'm liking him a lot more.
Oh yeah.
What is he? The owner of the White Falcon? Security force.
I thought it was White Tiger.
No, the White Tiger.
Yeah,
White
He's
Tiger.
all the muscle that he hires, that Joe hires for everything.
I just like, he's like, dang boy, you scared me.
He calls them all 13-year-olds, and I'm like, that's a little creepy. It was like, you're not wearing any pants right now. Remember that, buddy. I'm pretty sure in Korea you're not even under. That's not the appropriate age limit. Just relax.
Yeah, the final chapter here for the arc I like it a lot. The way it wraps everything up, pretty nice. With Manager Kim, you know, he didn't get super fucked up, and then we see Warren Che being a dad, so wholesome.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and this has to be a new thing that Webtoons is doing, but the fact that they had to like pixelate the knives that showed up, I was like, I don't remember that ever happening.
You and the knives, bro.
Well, because it stands out. I'm like, I don't remember something like this happening, and then I noticed like they brought back like the parental advisory thing in the beginning on some of the chapters. So,
yeah,
like, I don't know what things are just keep going in and out. I don't know. It's weird, man. Excuse me. Yeah, but it's good stuff. I really like the way it ends here. Everything's kind of like, yeah, it all works out, and yeah, man, next week's chapter is going to be crazy.
Next week's chapter is going to be insane.
I like how we get some more setup with Samuel. He's definitely going to be coming back now that he's working with these.
Oh yeah,
fucking I forget his name. What?
K-Town or whatever.
K-House. Yeah.
K-House. Yeah.
K-House.
Yeah. The replacements for God Dogs.
Big deal. Oh, God Dogs. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of these people are from there.
No, but that guy, the guy, what's his name? The guy that smokes. He's also has connections to Big Deal.
It's like Lim or Kim or something like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which we all know when Big Deal comes back, dude, we're gonna get Mr. G-Ho Park.
That's what I'm waiting for.
That's gonna be crazy,
dude.
man.
I hate that guy.
That's gonna be crazy.
You hate him, but you love him, dude. He's gonna be the next Ollie. Watch.
Oh, don't say that,
Ollie.
Don't say that,
bro.
Man. Don't say that. I'm not ready for that, man.
See, I can't wait to see Samuel come back with K-House. They're definitely going to be different when they come back. And, I was surprised. Like,
especially when... Oh, so good. Sorry.
Yeah, we mentioned it during this arc, but I was surprised we didn't see anybody show up, like any of the boys. You know? Like Jace or Vasco or anybody.
Well, you got to remember that they're not. Daniel had made it a point not to ask Vasco or any of those guys from Burn Knuckles when this whole arc started.
Yeah, that's true.
They're burning with energy, and you need somebody to keep for that mission.
Yeah. Exactly, which is why they got Warren, and also because they had the girls from Hostel, and then still don't know why they got Dung.
Or Duke.
Your Duke.
Fucking Duke.
Boy Duke.
I was.
No, fool. The one with his head is all twisted.
Yeah.
And he's like, you two make them fight each other.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit, they actually did it.
Oh man, yeah, that guy. It cracks me up.
Oh, but I like how I like the end of this is like they're gonna show what's like next, what's coming up for like the 4 affiliates. Well, the 4 affiliates, right? Yeah.
Well, this arc's over. With this chapter 299, and then in a nice crisp 300, we're starting off a little mini arc here with the boy Zach and Johan coming in, and I gotta say, what's the author's name? Yeah, Taejung Park. He knows how to put in these pieces right after the story where this is when it has to happen. It makes sense. Right, because now we've got the downtime with 1 MCN, right? Like now, like all that stuff has to settle before Daniel can figure out where to go next.
Move on.
Yeah, let's get into more of the world that we have set up here. And I'm like, dude, I can't wait to see this fight.
Yeah, man. Especially like if you're like, because I forgot the whole I forgot some of the history between Zach and Johan. And it wasn't until like maybe like the next chapter when I just remembered like, oh shit, they were in the same boxing class together.
Dude, you can't forget
they had
those flashbacks.
That fucking rivalry, dude. That rivalry is just what set the whole attitude between them today. Especially after Zach like met up with his mom, dude.
Yeah, man, the God Dog flashbacks.
Because he just took it upon himself to bring the dog home, and it's just. Oh man, it's so. I just can't wait, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm ready. I'm ready for this fight. It's gonna be one of the most interesting fights coming out right now, with well-established characters. Anyways, so yeah, man, Workers, 4 affiliates, nice, solid 11 chapters. It's definitely a change of pace from what we've gotten before. And I think post Hostel, like things have to change for the better, right? When it comes to this, like because the scale's getting bigger now. And so with that, man, I think it's safe to say we could go ahead and wrap up this episode. Thanks for swinging by. We'll be back. Remember, you can send us an email, unversedpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know your questions, comments. We'd love to talk about it on the next episode. And you can, while we wait for that episode, you can follow us on social media at unversedpodcast. Anywhere you go, I'll let you know when those episodes drop. So thanks again, guys, and we'll catch you on the next episode.